What do you do when your parents are charged with murder? You tell the truth. That's right. The kids testified in the Lori Vallow and Letitia Stout case. We'll talk about that. And then our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for joining us. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you do, leave me a comment, and as always, hit that little bell so you receive notifications when we go live or put up new content. And remember, you can listen to us anytime on any of your favorite podcasting apps. And I would note, with the Lori Vallow trial, we've been putting that up there. Our numbers for listening on the podcasts have gone through the roof. So thanks for listening. All right, you also know the drill. Let's support the people that support Crime Talk. Go to crimetalksearch.com, sign up for that background subscription service today. When you sign up for that subscription, you can conduct as many background searches as you like. And remember, you can cancel at any time. That report, which is literally generated while you wait, is going to let you know whether they have a criminal history. Are they on one of those public registries? You know the kind I'm talking about. Do they have judgments? Are they married? Are they divorced? Basically, find out if they are telling you the truth. Go to crimetalksearch.com. You'll be happy you did. All right, let's go ahead and start the docket, and let's open the record for April 18th of 2023. Well, the Lori Vallow trial resumed today. As you may recall, they took Monday off because there was a death in the family for someone on the prosecution team. Those kinds of things happen in trials. You have to be flexible. So what is taking place today? Well, before the day even got started, somebody had to be removed because their cell phone rang and was also trying to take pictures. So needless to say, the court did not like that. So the testimony of Zulema Pastenes continued. She was back on the stand for cross-examination. And Mr. Thomas continued cross-examination about her relationship with Alex Cox. You know, Alex Cox, the brother of Lori Vallow, who everybody, I think, is kind of leaning toward, well, he's the one that killed JJ and Tylee. Well, Zulema says that her first day with Alex was back in August of 2019. They dated a few times until their first kissed on October 31st of 2019. And apparently they spoke quite frequently on the phone, talking about the scripture, talking about what they read, their families, getting to know each other during their short romance. Mr. Thomas then asked what happened during the week of October 31st and November 7th. And Zulema says that she was in Arizona and Alex was in Rexburg, Idaho. Alex proposed to her on November 7th in Rexburg when she says she came to visit. Alex was clear that he was looking for a relationship and he wanted to get married. Zulema says the first time they went to dinner, Alex told her he wanted to get married and have a relationship. Zulema says she doesn't quite remember if she reacted in any particular way when he was sharing that type of information. However, she did testify that when he proposed on November 7th, Zulema says she was not surprised. He had told her that he was looking for a ring and asked for her ring size. How romantic. And so she wasn't surprised when the big question was asked. Anyway, Zulema went home to Arizona and didn't physically see Alex again until Thanksgiving. He returned to Arizona the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and he stayed with Zulema the entire time. When Mr. Thomas asked about Zulema about what day they got married, she said, "I wish I could tell you. I don't know the exact date, but there's been so much trauma around all this stuff and the events that it's very hard for her to remember those types of things, especially for things that she would like to forget." Thomas did ask Zulema about, what are these traumatic events that she witnessed? And she said, after she started to cry, "I went to work early on December 12th and Alex was fine. And when I came home, Alex was laying on the floor of her bathroom dead." She is traumatized by the fact that the paramedics came and started working on him and that they took him to the emergency room, worked on him for about an hour, and then ultimately he passed away. They were unable to revive him. She said the machines and seeing the machines turn off, that was very traumatic. Mr. Thomas then asked Zulema, well, how is it that you knew him in August and December and you spent very little time with him He said, is it possible you didn't know him that well? And in fact, he wouldn't do anything for Lori, referring to his sister. Zulema said, I disagreed with that. He had to have Lori or Chad's permission whenever he wanted to do anything. She relates a blessing that Alex received from Chad, where Chad told him he would be a warrior. The following day, Alex got on a plane with Chad to check Rexburg out. After he got married, I told him I would not be moving to Rexburg. My family, my life was in Arizona. He was living in Rexburg, so we were discussing what we were going to do. And he said, well, before I make any decisions, I need to ask Chad and Lori what I should do. Now, it's unclear exactly why everyone is allowing all of this hearsay statements in, but the defense does not appear to be objecting one way or the other. Zulema was then given some text messages that she sent to Chad Daybell saying that she was not ready to move to Rexburg, mainly because of her daughter, and that Chad responded that he understood and maybe it would happen eventually. So Zulema says that during that time, Chad repeatedly told her to move to Rexburg. He gave her blessings, telling her to move, and Lori and Chad kept pushing her to move to Rexburg, according to her. She said that I really trusted these people, and Chad said he had a veil and could see the other side. He said angels were constantly guiding him, and Lori said that she had conversations with Jesus Christ. So therefore, she trusted them. She said it was very hard, and I was confused. Zulema says that she started to pray for guidance, and Zulema said that during one prayer, she got her answers from God that said, you will go to Rexburg eventually, but not right now. Zulema read another text message she sent Chad saying she feels better about things, and Mr. Thomas asked her to read another text. I have a couple of questions for you. Do I have a second comforter? And how will I know when and how the temple when the call out happens? This was sent on January 24th of 2019. Zulema read another text message about her having a yearning to only go to the temple and to leave the world behind. Zulema says she felt she was doing the honorable good thing and good work at the time, but now realizes that the intentions of Chad and Lori were evil. Those things they were saying were evil and manipulative, she reiterated to Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas asked Zulema if she had a portal in her home. She said no. He asked if she had ever had a portal in her home. She said, no, sir. Mr. Thomas then asked Zulema to read another text she sent to Chad on April 8th of 2019. Part of it said, I would love that. I want to see if you can help me create a portal at home and to get answers. Zulema says she doesn't recall that particular conversation. Mr. Thomas asked about casting the demons from Garrett out of Charles. While the ceremony took place, Zulema says she is unsure if the evil spirit ever left Charles because Lori always had to check with Chad to see if the spirit had actually left. Zulema stated that they would only get their confirmation from Chad. Now, Zulema says she was in the temple the day Charles died. She read a text message saying he was working on Hiplos, the evil spirit that inhabited Charles, while in the temple, and was told he would be taken away. Lori was supposed to be at the temple that day working on her Hiplos that day, but apparently Lori didn't show up. She stated that she hopes today is a good day for all of this to end. Now, Mr. Thomas asked Zulema about a powerful spiritual experience she had in the temple where she saw the Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, Jesus, and her eternal Father. Zulema says she doesn't recall that day, and why would you, right? I mean, calling in all the big guys, so to speak, you'd think she'd probably remember that. And then Mr. Thomas says, well, remember you said you saw the Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, and Jesus, and you don't remember that happening? Zulema apparently sat on the stand for a good 60 seconds and starts to talk before Mr. Thomas said, I withdraw the question, Your Honor. On recross, Zulema said that Chad and Lori, including Alex, made others feel special and powerful. They told Alex that he was the angel who came to Sal before he became Paul, and he was the one who spoke to him and made him blind so he would mend his ways and become a follower of Jesus Christ. They also told him that he had been an angel before he was an angel that had appeared to Latter-day Saint founder Joseph Smith. And they told him that he had been exalted in other creations with his wife Holly and was a very powerful warrior. He had unmasked Satan in another creation, which is why Satan had so much animosity towards him. Zulema continued to say that Alex quit his job and moved to Rexburg after Chad and Lori told him to do so, and he left behind all of his belongings in Arizona. Chad and Lori told him the only reason he came to Earth at the time was for his sole purpose, and that sole purpose was to protect Lori. Yeah. You see where the defense is kind of going with this? You got a bunch of gullible people that are basically being told several things like, wow, these people are evil. What should we do with the evil people? And then these people go act upon themselves. See how that's working out there? That's the defense. Next, who appeared on the witness stand? Colby Ryan. That's right. Lori Vallow's oldest child. Well, Mr. Rob Wood handled his direct examination and asked, how do you know the defendant, Lori Vallow? And Colby responded, well, that's my mom. Mr. Woods showed a photo of Tylee Ryan. He asked Colby who that would be, and Colby, through tears, says, that's my sister. Mr. Wood then showed photos of J.J. Vallow, and Colby says, that's my brother. He was crying and sniffling the whole time. He really didn't appear even to look at his mother throughout his testimony, according to those in the courtroom. Now, Mr. Woods continued and asked Colby about the day Charles Vallow died. And Colby says that Lori called him at work and said that Charles died of a heart attack. The day Charles died, Colby went home and Tylee greeted him. Alex was sitting on the couch watching TV and had a bandage on his hand. Colby asked Alex what happened, and Alex said he had been hit with a bat and shot Charles. That night, he said that Lori's demeanor was calm. A few weeks after Charles died, Colby said his mom told him that she wasn't receiving any life insurance money. Colby says she spoke with his mom monthly or every other month about their finances, and Lori often told them they were out of money. Mr. Wood asked Colby if he had ever received money from Tylee, and Colby said he, in fact, did. Randomly received money through Venmo. Colby says that Lori would often send money to Tylee, who would then send it to Colby. Now, Wood asked Colby about the night of September 8th of 2019, and Colby asked Tylee for money, and Tylee responded that she was no longer in control of her money, but her mother was handling all of those issues. Colby says he spoke with Lori that day. He heard Tylee over the phone, and Lori said they were in the Yellowstone National Park gift store. Colby says that the Gilbert police contacted him about November 27th of 2019, and they asked where JJ and Tylee were. Colby said they were not with him and that Colby was concerned about his sister. His next message with Tylee were in a different language than how Tylee would have talked and typed. It was just different. He felt like it wasn't Tylee he was actually speaking with on those text messages. Colby says that after September 19th, he continued to receive money from 2 different accounts registered to his mother's name. Colby says after Charles died, his mom said she was going to get married again. And after the Gilbert police visited him in November of 2019, he called his mom and asked, what the heck is going on? Why are the police here looking for the kids? Colby says he didn't know where his mom was, but knew that she had moved from the Phoenix area. She never told him where she, in fact, moved, and Lori would not tell Colby where she was. She just kept telling him that she was moving somewhere cold, and it was dangerous for her to tell anybody where she had gone. Colby tried to contact his mother on Thanksgiving, but her phone apparently was disconnected. He was able to ultimately reach her, and Wood asked no real further questions of Colby at that time. Mr. Archibald did the cross-examination for Lori Vallow as it relates to her son, Colby Ryan, after a short courtroom break. And as the jury was leaving the courtroom, Colby glanced over at his mother, shook his head, and turned away. When they returned, Lori is staring at Colby on the stand, and he refused apparently to make eye contact with her. So Mr. Archibald asked Colby who his dad is. And he said that it's William Lagioia, Lagioia, but explains his stepdads were Joseph Ryan and Charles Vallow. Mr. Archibald asked if Lori Vallow has ever met Colby's two kids, and Colby says she met his oldest child, but not the youngest. Mr. Archibald then asked if Colby's childhood with Joe Ryan and Lori was good or bad, and Colby responds, bad. Archibald asked if his stepfather abused him. Mr. Wood immediately objects. For relevance, they asked for a sidebar, and once the sidebar was determined, the court sustains the objection. The court tells the jury to ignore the question about abuse. Mr. Archibald asked Colby if his mother protected him from Joe Ryan, and Colby says yes. Guess we got that question in through the back door. Mr. Archibald asks if she protected Colby by moving away and divorcing Joe. Colby says yes. Colby says Charles Vallow had a good relationship with him, and Colby says he had a good relationship with JJ and Ty Lee. Mr. Archibald asked if Ty Lee had health issues, and Colby says that she had pancreatitis and often had to go to the hospital. Mr. Archibald asked about JJ's special need and asked if Lori cared for the needs of Colby, Ty Lee, and JJ. Colby responded yes. Archibald asked about the book Colby wrote since the case started, and he says the book is how God has helped him through his life. Archibald asked about the media appearance Colby has made and asked if he was paid for his Netflix documentary. Colby said that he was not paid, and in the documentaries, Colby says his mom changed when she met Chad Daybell. Mr. Archibald asked him about that line, and Colby says he doesn't remember saying it, but that he possibly could have. Mr. Archibald continued and asked Colby if he loved his mom, and he says yes. Mr. Archibald asked if his mom loved him, and Mr. Colby Ryan responded, I think so. Well, Woods then got back up and asked to admit and play the jail phone that Colby and Lori had with each other. Colby's out of the room. At this point, he's left the stand, but he could be called back for questioning. And the call basically begins, hi, Colby. You can hear Lori Vallow saying, can you hear me? Do you want to talk with me? And Colby responds, do you think you can hide to me? Lori says she is hiding, but he didn't want to talk to her. Probably because you murdered my siblings. The call continued along that path until the noon break. Once again, not a whole lot of great revelations thus far in the Lori Vallow case. Pretty standard. Not anything we didn't already know from pretrial publicity, court filings, and the Netflix hearing. Let me know. I mean, I keep waiting for the bombshell. Haven't seen it yet. Remember, they still have to prove who killed the children, or at least if there was a conspiracy of who killed the children. Haven't seen those text messages. Haven't seen that witness just testified just yet. But make sure you keep a lookout, as we will put the audio of today's court testimony up later this evening. Next on the docket, Letitia Stalk, the trial that is still going on. I think we're up to day 9 or something to that effect, but it seems like it's going a little faster than expected. For those who've been watching, you've noticed that Letitia Stalk has been hiding behind the computer monitors at the defense table. She's been there pretty much the entire time. Well, that has changed. According to the court, she is going to sit between her attorneys. Why? Well, apparently she was, maybe communicating with some family members in the courtroom like that, and somebody saw it and took pictures, and now she gets to sit between her attorneys, and if the court sees any other hand gestures, guess what? She's going to be shackled, and if she can't behave in the courtroom, she'll watch from a cell in the courthouse. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. You can't make this stuff up. But yesterday, what took place? Letitia Stalk's daughter testified. Her daughter is Harley Hunt. And her testimony, as it relates to Letitia Stalk moving from Colorado after Gannon vanished, that's where it gets interesting. On the day following Gannon's disappearance, Stalk allegedly asked or made Miss Hunt, 17 at the time, to pick up at various locations in Colorado Springs without explanation. Those items were, for example, Taco Bell, after Stalk was discharged from an area hospital. Ms. Stalk also exhibited paranoid behavior, including a fear that detectives were trying to frame her, according to her daughter. And Miss Hunt said that despite her mother's behavior and that Gannon's mysteriously vanished under Stauch's care, she really didn't question the defendant as they packed up and left Colorado Springs. She said, "I really didn't question her a whole lot," Miss Hunt explained on the witness stand. "I would be told that she was being disrespectful and quit talking back. Sometimes she would even backhand her." So Letitia Stauch would backhand her daughter for asking, "Hey, why are we packing up and moving?" Anyway, according to Miss Hunt, Stauch rented a van on January 30th of 2020 while the search for Gannon was still ongoing. Miss Hunt testified that Stauch wanted to leave the area because she had concerns for both of their safety. Now, Miss Stauch was also upset that Gannon's mother, Landon Hoyt, and her family members were staying at the Fountain home with Gannon's father, Al, during that same time period. Now, Stauch loaded up many belongings on the van, but she didn't see the green suitcase that police would later find Gannon in. Hunt said that she had seen the suitcase previously since it belonged to Al, but she never saw it in the van. Now, Stauch and Hunt stopped at various places after leaving Colorado. Florida was where Stauch rented a room at the Candlewood Suites in Pensacola, Florida. Hunt said she never saw her mother leave the room, and she didn't recall if the van had been parked in a different parking spot. Hunt added that she never smelled anything foul in the van and that Stauch usually had the air conditioner on. Then in March of 2020, police found Gannon's body stuffed inside the green suitcase under a bridge a few miles away from the Pensacola Candlewood Suites. After Pensacola, the pair traveled to Orlando, and Stauch said that she wanted to live there and began looking for an apartment, according to her daughter. Within a few days, however, her daughter said they left Orlando for South Carolina after Stauch became paranoid and believed that the police were in fact following her. Maybe that paranoia was real. Ultimately, the pair ended up in Myrtle Beach with family. That's also in South Carolina. Then on March 2nd of 2022, police arrested Stauch in Myrtle Beach and charged her mother with the death of Gannon. During the cross-examination, Miss Hunt told defense lawyers that at the time she believed her mother and didn't question her about Gannon during the road trip. The defense attorneys then accused Miss Hunt of being manipulative for her own gain, referring to a GoFundMe page that Miss Hunt made after Stauch's arrest. The page indicated that Hunt had lost both parents. The defense attorney told Miss Hunt that she didn't lose both parents since Stauch is on trial, but Hunt explained that she lost her mother when she was arrested and left her without anything to survive, and her father passed away of a drug overdose back in 2014. Now, Miss Hunt said her aunt helped her out after Stauch's arrest and even gave her a car, but took the car back and stopped helping her after Hunt gave a statement to the prosecution. The GoFundMe page was subsequently created. The prosecution then did some redirect as it relates to Miss Hunt and asked if Stauch could pick Gannon up, stuff him into a suitcase, and toss that suitcase over a guardrail. Miss Hunt said, yes, probably. And Hunt said that she was irate when she learned that her mother pled not guilty by reason of insanity after believing in her mother's innocence for years. She said, quote, "I'm still in shock. I just feel manipulated and lied to," Miss Hunt testified. "That thought never came across my mind. I just never thought my mom would do that. I didn't see her as the type of person that would do that." She cried, and then her testimony was over. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, not guilty by reason of insanity. The law in Colorado is it's an affirmative defense. It says, yes, I did it. Hence the reason why the defense attorneys aren't really vigorously fighting a whole lot and are sitting there kind of looking a little bored because they're not disputing what took place. They're just saying we were justified in doing it. That will come out in the defense case in chief. Interesting when their own daughter is shocked. Letitia Stauch's own daughter is shocked that basically she did it after she believed she didn't. Yes, welcome to the world of criminal defense. People tell their family one thing, and then ultimately the truth will come out. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the truth, or a close version of it, comes out between the beginning of trial and the end of trial.
As a pet owner, you want to give your furry friend the very best. That's why Baked in Colorado's CBD-infused dog treats are the perfect choice. These delicious treats not only taste great, but they also provide a wide range of health benefits for your pet. CBD has been shown to have many positive effects on dogs, including reducing anxiety, alleviating pain and inflammation, and improving overall wellness. Baked in Colorado's treats are infused with premium, full-spectrum CBD oil, meaning your pet will benefit from the whole plant extract. Not only that, but Baked in Colorado's treats are made with all-natural human-grade ingredients, so you can feel good about what you're giving your pet. They're also free from wheat, corn, and soy, making them a great option for dogs with food sensitivities. Baked in Colorado CBD-infused dog treats are the perfect way to support your pet's health and well-being. With various flavors, including peanut butter, pumpkin, and bacon, your dog will love them too. So why wait? Head to www.bakedincolorado.com today and order your dog a bag of these delicious and nutritious treats. Your pet will thank you for it.
And finally today, our dumb criminal. Officers were dispatched Sunday morning to a Speedway convenience store in the Vero Beach, Florida area after a 911 caller advised that there was a naked white male screaming at a white female along the side of the road. Needless to say, the officers arrived. They encountered a guy by the name of Jason Roach, with whom they were somewhat familiar. Why, you ask, Scott? Well, Mr. Roach, the cops reported, had been questioned twice the prior evening in connection with alleged masturbation incidents at an Arby's restaurant and another convenience store. Now, Mr. Roach stopped and went on his way in both instances, according to the court filings. The third time, however, didn't quite work out so well for him. The witness told the police that Mr. Roach was naked and touching himself in the motion of pleasuring himself while near the Speedway convenience store at 6 a.m. When questions about his activities, Mr. Roach reportedly said that he was having issues with his rectum, and in order to get rid of the pain, well, he had to ejaculate. If Roach offered anything further about his purported medical issues, the police didn't include that in the affidavit for the arrest warrant. Despite the compelling explanation and medical issues, guess what? Mr. Roach was arrested for exposure of a sexual organ, a misdemeanor. He was booked into the Indian River County Jail on a $50,000 bond. I just hope before his arraignment on May 2nd that he gets some medical treatment, not for his mental health, obviously, but, for that rectum issue. All right, that's all we have for you today. Don't forget, join us live at 6 p.m. Mountain Time for our Tuesday Night Live program. We will see you then. Have a wonderful day.